Hello everybody, it's your Peacekeeper coming at you with another epic battle video. In this video, we have a 175,000 damage game in Battleship Hindenburg. Yes, she earns the title of Battleship Hindenburg, and there is no one that can convince me otherwise. Downside, I was attempting to find a way that I could watch TV/movies on the one computer screen whilst also playing World of Warships, whilst also recording, and unfortunately in doing so, which by the way I found out that I can't, not without getting into some advanced computer software like virtual audio cables, but I can't do that, and in the process of doing that, I forgot to switch everything back, and unfortunately, there is no sound for this video. So if you're expecting sound from the game, my apologies. You're going to have to suffer through 20 minutes of me talking. I know that is scary and shocking. Bear with me, alright? Alright, so as I said, this is the Hindenburg, which is the Tier 10 German cruiser. I call it the Battleship Hindenburg because it is an incredibly capable ship. To give you an idea of how I have it set up, it is set for the range module instead of the dispersion module. This pumps that main battery range out to 20.7 kilometers. I am also not using the concealment module in the last slot. I am using the rudder shift module. I am also using the rudder shift module in the 6th slot, I believe it is. No, 7th slot. So this ship has the lowest rudder shift time that you can possibly have. It's right around 5.8 seconds, if I remember correctly. Please don't quote me on that. That makes this ship very maneuverable, and it makes it a very capable long-range ship. As you can see at the start of this match, it allows me to duck and weave through a lot of these first incoming rounds. Downside is, of course, that if you don't hit square in the superstructure with the 8-inch AP, you're not doing any damage. As you can see here, we are starting off in a really rather precarious position between several battleships, a Bismarck, and a Magi, a Yamato. That's just what we've seen. Elsewhere on the map, there is far worse things than that. So, yeah. We finally get our first real damage rounds in on an Edinburgh, and the Hindenburg's AP does really good, makes really short work of the Royal Navy cruisers. In fact, in the battle montage video that I'm working on, hopefully next week will be ready, I do a lot of really big damage to a Neptune, and it felt really, really awkward, almost dirty really, just how easy it was. I ended up hitting him with, I think it was 10 citadels, maybe it was 8. Still, it just when you take that many hit points off of an enemy ship, it doesn't feel. I mean, it feels good, but it's like, man, I felt bad for him because he came out and it was just gone. Basically, gets deleted as soon as he gets exposed. But all right, so we're gonna take some long range shots here. If you are unfamiliar with the German AP on all of the high tier German cruisers, probably starting before Hipper, but including Hipper, if it is broadside to you, you are going to do a lot of damage. It also has relatively favorable gun angle, penetration angles, or at least it feels that way, and maybe that's just because I'm just actually hitting them at those angles. You can see here we're taking off some pretty big chunks off of an Edinburgh. I think there were a couple of 5,000 damage salvos, and it goes by quick. There's 2,500. Of course, the Edinburgh is struggling to go ahead and do damage. My biggest piece of advice, if you're going to get in a fight with an angled cruiser, aim up slightly so that the shells impact on the superstructure rather than hitting that big, thick belt armor plate. Or if it's a ship that uses that all-or-nothing scheme, make sure to aim at either the bow or the stern. So, all right, we've got an Iowa here now coming around the corner, and fighting battleships. There's 5,000 damage taken off of. He wasn't broadside, but he didn't have a good angle like he does now. The key to taking on battleships is unless you have a good solid ambush position in which you can use the 6-kilometer torps, You need to get the heck out of dodge. Turn your back to them, wiggle as you go away, assuming that they allow you to. You can also see there that at about 6,500, 7,000 damage there with the AP salvo. There's 4,000 with an HE salvo. He's turning broadside. We're switching right back to the AP. Of course, more tempting targets present themselves, so let's go ahead and take advantage of those. The key to this fight, though, is paying attention to your surroundings. There's 12,744 damage to a New Orleans. How is that not worthy of the battleship title? Yes, New Orleans is still very soft, but man, is that a lot of damage. But the key to this fight is managing the angles in which incoming fire is coming to you. Remember, we had the Bismarck, the Amagi, now we've got an Iowa. There's still a Yamato out there that I'm actually broadside to. You got to pay attention to those, and you got to be constantly maneuvering and dealing with the incoming fire from those. The other nice part about Hindenburg is that while she does not have a particularly good fire chance, she does have enough shells impacting to where it is actually feasible to start fires, as you can see. And at this point, this Iowa is reaching a high level of frustration. As I would be if I were in his shoes. You're fighting off a destroyer and a Hindenburg that is trying to burn you to death. You can use AP, but the problem with using AP on a nose-on Iowa like that is that only shots to the superstructure will count. Now, I saw those shots coming out, and you'll notice that I ruddered over immediately. That is going to help mitigate the amount of damage that you take. Of course, there's 5k taken off with just 2 shell hits. So Battleship Hindenburg coming through here for me. And there's another salvo of 7,800 followed by 2 grand, so roughly 10k taken off there. I guess that's 9k. You can see how those big hits add up really quickly. The AP on these ships is amazing. And so far in the battle, it's starting to look a little lopsided. Yeah, both teams have only lost 2. However, we've lost 2 battleships. They've only lost 2 cruisers. That comes that hurts. When you lose that many battleships right off the bat, you don't have that damage sink to take in the hits. We're still shooting AP at this Iowa. I'm not sure what I was thinking there, but well, I don't know. We're still shooting AP, and as you can see, it's not doing any damage to him. We switched to HE finally, just as the Cyclone is rolling around, just as more appealing targets come into view. We'll keep firing at Iowa, though. As you can see, we started another fire on her. And now that she's opening up and we're coming around this corner, I'm going to switch back to AP. And the reason for that is I saw that Amagi. I saw the direction he's going. If you look at the mini-map, he's starting to kind of come towards us. He's starting to open up a little bit. And honestly, APing the broadside of an Amagi yields some stupid high damage numbers. Of course, the other key part of playing a cruiser is to make sure that you're paying attention to your mini-map as well. Now, the Amagi is in the cap. There's 3,700 damage to the Amagi. The Amagi is in the cap, but there is a Fletcher there, and he just now started to engage me. Kind of a mistake on his part, because honestly, I've got enough experience with this ship and with the guns that I can be pretty accurate with it. Also, you'll notice we have a friendly destroyer in there, which is helping keep the cap from going full over to the Reds. We also did a mild reset on it. Now, I know that from my experience in playing Fletcher, that if I saw that an enemy ship was making this turn and got, I'd probably go chase after him, especially if I was really confident in my ability to take them on. And the fact that this Fletcher is coming my way just reinforces those torpedoes. My hope is that he'll make a sudden turn to try and launch torpedoes down this channel. Unfortunately, he does not do that. He's going to make a right turn there, and he's going to avoid my torpedoes rather than making the left turn and turning into my torpedoes. That is a good way to deny an area from them. My other hope is that maybe that Amagi made a sudden turn there and might catch a couple torpedoes. It's always possible. You never know. The other key thing to being a good cruiser player is, of course, traversing your guns early. That is a trait/attribute that I picked up very early on from U.S. battleship play. As you can see now, we are now down a ship. We have lost 3 of our battleships. We have 1 remaining, and we've lost 2 destroyers. They have lost 2 cruisers and 2 battleships. That's it. This match, under any other normal circumstance, would be over. And there we just lost another cruiser. Things aren't looking so hot. In fact, they are contesting. All 3 caps are being contested at this point in time. What that tells me is that the Fletcher is still in this cap. Good news for me. 2, the Amagi is also still somewhere in this cap. Oh, we are now detected. Checking my gun range there. And we got shot out on the Amagi. Look at this damage roll. Yeah! Nearly 13,000 damage. That is battleship levels of damage. And how does that not qualify as being Battleship Hindenburg? Also, the other funny part is if you are in a destroyer and you are running from Battleship Hindenburg, please do not do what this Fletcher is doing. You are better off just flat running away with your rear end straight away from me than you are doing anything else. And the reason for that is every time I land a shell hit that comes and hits you while you are angled at me even slightly because of the overmatch mechanics, I am going to get normal penetrating hits, which do 50% damage to you. And you can see just how quickly this Fletcher disappears. That Amagi has also since long disappeared into a cloud of smoke. Fine by me. That leaves me out here in B. We're going to go ahead and turn and go chase because we've got plenty of support up there at A. Of course, this is going to get cut short because if you'll pay attention to the mini-map... Oh, Fletcher just killed our Iowa. We are now down to 0 battleships, 3 cruisers, and 2 destroyers. This match should be over. We are also already at 140,000 damage of this 175,000 damage, so we're not done yet. If this game ended right here, I would not feel bad about this loss. We played our hearts out. We got outplayed. We kept caps. You can see that the issue isn't necessarily the caps. The issue is we're just losing ships too fast. I am also detected. So I know it's not the destroyer ahead because he's outside of the cyclone view range. That means that there is somewhere in this cap or near this cap a destroyer. Because that's the only ship that has that could possibly be anywhere near me within the 8 kilometers of the cyclone viewing distance that could be spotting me. There's some attempting at a blind fire at that Fletcher. I think that's a Fletcher. Yeah, that's a Fletcher up there. Nope, he's dead. The gearing took him out. You can also see now that B is being actively contested. So, with that in mind, well, we should probably go take care of that. I'm coming up here to see if I can't get the help of this Fubuki. I think it's a Fubuki. Yep. And see if I can't get his assistance in spotting this destroyer. Also, their last remaining destroyer is a Shimakaze, which means that there is a boatload of torpedoes coming in sometime. But the good news is once those torpedoes pass, that's kind of the end of the threat of the Shimakaze, especially if he doesn't run away from you right away. So here I am asking Diesel for help. He is our Fubuki here, and we're going to try and push them out of B. We are also not getting any points because they have captured C, and A and B are both being contested, so any ship losses here are going to directly hurt our chances of winning. And they still have 2 battleships. There's one up north, there's one down south. We also have 2 cruisers. Okay, there goes their Yamato. So now they are down to 1 battleship, which is a Bismarck. The Cyclone is also passing. I'm detected. The key in this instance is once you've been detected is to start maneuvering immediately. If it's a torpedo ship like the Shimakaze is, any chance that you can to throw off their torpedo aim by taking any number of different approaches is good. My recommendation is to not do what I did, which is to make those changes, but then to kind of undo them and have a larger path, for lack of a better phrase, where it opens you back up into this torpedo spread. And thankfully, because of that spotting plane, which is really the MVP of this, I only end up taking the 1 torpedo here on the end. That hurts a lot, but repair is not on cooldown. Of course, we got incoming fire there from a Domskoy and a Bismarck. The quick rudder shift allows me to turn back in and bounce the shells from the Bismarck. We've still got Shimakaze out here that we got to take care of too, and he is foolishly firing at this Fubuki. Now, I don't know what happens to this Fubuki, but he gets absolutely schooled in this gunfight, and I think Shimakaze is just out DPSing him, and that's probably because Shimakaze got a good hit on him. I also noticed that the Domskoy and the Bismarck are going around the southern part of that island iceberg there. That means I can turn around safely without issue. Of course, we're going to launch the discouraging torpedoes so that if they do decide to cut that a little short, we will go ahead and have torpedoes there ready. And 2,500 more damage, followed by 1,770 damage. We are now up to 144,000 damage. We lost Fubuki. Shimakaze killed it. Thankfully, Fubuki dropped the smoke. We are going to take advantage of that smoke being present, and we're going to use that to get away as far away from the Domskoy and the Bismarck as we can. I'm not worried about the Shimakaze. The Shimakaze's torpedo reload is somewhere on the order of about 2 minutes, give or take, minute and a half, 2 minutes. He launched his torpedoes long enough ago that they should be coming up here soon, but they aren't up yet. By adding this distance between me and the Domskoy and the Bismarck, it allows that rudder shift to work in my favor. Now, this Shimakaze should have really ran the other way because, well, no. That is the power of the AP shells on the Hindenburg. Now I'm detected. That means the Domskoy has come around the end of the island. We got the smoke between us. Domskoy does a really smart move. He pops his radar here. There it is. So now he can see me, but I can't see him. And that puts me at a tremendous disadvantage, but that is short-lived. Of course, he is broadside to me. I don't think he realizes just how quickly the damage adds up on this. You know, 1,100 damage, that's not a whole lot. Only 2 overpens, but hey, there's a Citadel. We added some damage there. Well, you know, we got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. We got 2 caps, a huge lead over the other ships, and they have come down in the number of ships that they have available. My priority here is no longer that Domskoy. The Domskoy cannot kill me quick enough to end this game for me. I am simply maneuvering far too much for him to do that. The real worry is, of course, Bismarck. And you'll see that I'm firing AP at him because he's broadside. We are wiggling like crazy. He is also turning away. And really, if I can get around these islands up here and get up into the A cap, I'm safe. I've done my job. I've discouraged them from coming onto the B cap long enough. Bismarck has 5,000 hit points left. Load up the HE. Let's see what we can do. Gearing is also going to help me out here, and I was really hoping that the Gearing had a smoke charge available, because if he had a smoke charge available, the Domskoy's radar's down, which means that I can get away from this fight, and I can get, you know, I can reposition myself to fire when it's most advantageous. But Bismarck down to 300, yep, now he's dead. So we've taken out the Bismarck, and all that's left is the Domskoy. Of course, asking the Gearing if he has smoke, but he doesn't have it. And at this point, I'm far enough away from the Domskoy that he just cannot kill me. As you can see, 175,449 damage. Only 3 Citadel hits, but we got Confederate thrown in there, and we're going to have Dreadnought as well because of the repairs for the Tier 10 cruiser. 3 fires, not really that impressive. 4 sinks, that is impressive, especially since not a single one of those was a kill steal. And I worked hard at getting those kills. 249 shell hits. 2 incapacitation, 3 base defends. Comes out to be about 13,000 XP between all the various bonuses, and I forget how much money. Maybe 670,000, I think. But this match is basically over. And like I said at the beginning of this, if there's anybody who disputes that this ship deserves the title of Battleship, really doesn't understand the high-tier German gunplay. Because these ships are ridiculously powerful when played right. Hipper is no slouch, and there are a lot of people who hate Hipper. The thing with Hipper is basically the same as Hindenburg. You can take the stealth build if you want, if you like playing that game. Personally, I prefer the rudder shift mod. Like I said at the beginning, it allows you to dodge a lot of that incoming fire. Alright, end the battle screens. Oh, 840,000 credits, 13,357 XP, 668 free XP, 2,919 base XP, first on the team. There is our damages from all of our stuff. Most of that damage comes entirely from AP shell. And there was the XP. So, anyway, that's been another epic battle video with the Battleship Hindenburg. I think that's actually the second epic battle video with Battleship Hindenburg. It's a fantastic ship, guys. I absolutely love it, and I'm saddened by the fact that people don't play her more often. But hey, it is what it is. Anyway, I'm your Peacekeeper. Like, comment, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.